Well, in this day and age, I think when I began way back in the 70s, we were an island unto ourselves. There really weren't any. There were no battered women's shelters. That wasn't even an issue. Homeless women were bag ladies. It was street bums. It was a whole other vocabulary to describe what we now call homeless. Now that's kind of a catch-all phrase, but we've evolved through the years where long ago, yeah, I could be my own little island. I could throw stones. It was great fun. You know, you had no money. There was no grants or anything out there, so you didn't have to be very politically astute because you didn't have any money anyway. So you could throw all the stones at any organization, any agency, anything that you thought was treating your people unfairly. That's changed through the years. Now we've become consortiums and we've become interconnected with one another, which it is good, but at times it can be, you spend a lot of time at meetings. You know, back in the 70s, there was nobody else to meet with. There just weren't the resources out there. So now the interfacing of that is something you have to do. You cannot go it alone in this environment. The problems are just too complex now. You know, the problems back then almost seemed simpler than, and it was a different kind of woman. Through the years, whether it be no poor parenting or no parenting, women today are very different. Homeless women are very different than the type of woman I saw in the 70s and 80s. There's less, I don't know, inner strength, that core that they could rely upon. Now it's kind of like, isn't there a magic pill somewhere that we can just get through with this pain, you know, without having to work really hard? One of the women said to me not long ago, "This is really hard." And I looked at her and I said, "Honey, life is hard. It's just part of living. Yeah, it's difficult, you know, and you got to rise to the occasion, and there's no soft way around it." So it's a different world, and that's part of being in one place for so long. You see where you have to adapt. Man, I hope so. Man, do I hope so. Yeah, I'm waiting for that pendulum to swing back. I really am, because I don't know. You want them to have so much, and you want them to have that inner strength. And the word I love more than any other word, and I think in the English language, is courage, you know. And what I want them to be is courageous, to be able to stand up, know who they are, and fight for it, and not let anybody, anywhere, anytime tell them any different. Be open to learn, but have a core that you stand straight and that you know what that is. And that seems to be a little lacking. In the old days, I think I did a whole lot better job than I do now. I don't know. Now I feel like I'm in the part of my life. I'm in that third act kind of play, you know. 70 is really right there, you know. So for me, it's hoping that younger women will step forward, you know. My time is not the time right now. It's your age. It's those younger women to look around like I did when I was 30 and to say, man, that's not fair. That's not right. You know, somebody ought to do something about that, and that somebody is you. You know, we used to affectionately call it dial a demo. There was a whole group of us that we could get together in 5 minutes and put together some scene somewhere about something. Now, I'm not sure if that spirit is there right now. And I feel personally, I just need to step back and allow room for younger women particularly to find that out and to see how much fun it can be. It really is fun. Well, we live in community here. we eat dinner together every night at 5 o'clock. It's not about having a job that keeps you out after 5. It's being a part of a smaller community. But for the first time for many of our women, it's their family. And the feeling of family, that feeling of community, that feeling of belonging, that can only happen when you're in the same place at the same time, seeing the same people. I mean, community bubbles up, you know, that you care about the person sitting across the dinner table from you, even though you've never met her until 3 days ago. But somehow or another, you're all in this boat together. And the feeling that comes with shared values, a shared struggle, a shared dreams, that's what community is all about. You know, for us who work here, this is not a job, this is a lifestyle. This is something my coworkers and I have chosen to do. It is a part of who we are. And part of that is to be a part of our community here at the shelter and the wider community of Columbia. Because we're very bright, we're very smart, we're very underutilized in a lot of professions. And nobody's going to do it for us. If we're waiting for some guy to come along and raise us up and, you know, tout us, it's kind of like defeats the purpose. That's got to come from within us, you know. And so there are a lot of marvelous women in Columbia that do a variety of different jobs and have a variety of different, you know, labels that go with them that are spectacular women, you know, and we find them and find ourselves in every community that we live in, you know, because I think we genetically have that empathy and compassion that we need to kind of foster in one another, you know. It's important. And only we can do that for one another, you know. Yeah. And there's a place for relationships and intimate relationships with our partners. But even with that, there is a place that only another woman can fill sometimes because of the like-mindedness that we share, because of the vision and the wisdom that we have. And that comes from woman-to-woman relationships, you know, friendships. I think it's great. I think this is really, really cool. I love Columbia. I love what it represents, you know, and the people that I've met here. And I think it's kind of a cool idea to kind of highlight our diversity in a different way, you know. Yeah. Well, I'm honored and flattered and really can't believe it. As I said to your cohort, you know, really not that interesting, you know, really not. So I take it kind of whimsically and say, that's really very, very nice. I'm very honored that somebody would throw my name into the hat at this ripe old age that I am now. Yeah, I think it's very cool. Oh gosh, my friend in Boston is always asking me that question. And I keep saying the same thing. I'm too consumed with today. I think some women, some people have this strategic planning outlook. They see ahead, they have a vision, and they work towards it. And I think my life for the last 40 years is just trying to figuring out the day, that I don't think that far ahead sometimes because we're in such crisis most of the time. It's just like putting out one crisis after another. The obvious answer is, I want this shelter to exist as long as there are women on the street. That would be the greatest legacy I could have, is to think that there would always be a safe place for women in need. Yeah, that would be it.
Anything you want to add? Okay, thank you.
So how was that?